The question we need to be asking is not who's the better fighter, but who wins between Michael Zerafa and Nikita Tszyu. Because as we all know, styles make fights. If this is the next one for each fighter, then this is guaranteed to be explosive. And not just the bout, but also the build up to the bout. And we might even see Tszyu dragged into the drama for this one. Today I want to go through what we found out about each fighter after their last fight. Even though Zerafa's fight only lasted one round, there are still things to pick up on. And if you go back to his second last fight, it's more clear what we're looking at. Before we go through this fight analysis, we need to talk about the aftermath from their previous fight and how things are looking now. All the drama started when Tommy Brown didn't come out in the second round due to a bicep injury.
Tommy Brown looks like he has a bicep injury.
And if you look back at Fight Week, you will see that Tommy Brown was hounding Zerafa about him quitting in his previous fight.
You go on the distance with guys that wouldn't bruise an apple.
Mate, you talk about getting in the ring with the best middleweight in the world. Yeah, you did. But what did you do? You looked at the ref, you nodded your head, you quit like a little girl. Like, mate, you had an opportunity to go and win a world championship and you laid down.
And in all honesty, I don't disagree with him. If you look back at the tapes of Michael Zerafa's last fight and the knockdown and the knockout, you will see Michael Zerafa was shaking his head before he even rose to his feet. You got to give yourself some time to recover. You don't start shaking your head before you even get to your feet. If you're really going to continue, you won't start shaking your head before even getting to your feet. As soon as he started shaking his head no, he knew that's it. He stopped. He quit. He wasn't going to continue the fight. And that's exactly what happened. Got to his feet, fell back, shaking his head, and obviously the ref is going to stop the fight. If you get knocked down and you're eager to continue, you're going to wait, take your time, take the count, and then hands back up, make sure you show the ref that you can continue, and then continue. So in my opinion, yeah, I think he quit. So after Tommy Brown didn't come out, Zerafa couldn't help himself. He needed his get back by saying Tommy quit. And if you know Tommy Brown's trainer, Tommy Mercury, you know he doesn't take crap. And he wasn't going to listen to Zerafa's crap. So he stood up, started approaching Zerafa, and demanding he goes back to his corner and leave his fighter alone, which is fair enough. And I don't think in that instance there was any moment that Tommy Mercury looked like he was going to physically touch Zerafa or was a threat. However, Zerafa's brother thought otherwise, and for some reason seeing him as a threat, jumped into the ring, threw a straight right hand, landing on Tommy Mercury's jaw. It didn't seem to affect Tommy Mercury. However, it was definitely an uncalled for act.
Oh, and now there's dramas here because Michael Zerafa and Tommy Mercury, the trainer of Tommy Brown, and here's the brother as well of Zerafa who throws a right hand, and this is not good stuff. This is not good stuff at all.
This action now sees Zerafa's brother banned for life from any No Limit events. How long this ban will actually last? I'm not sure. The police have also charged Michael Zerafa's brother with assault. However, this should not have any effect on Zerafa's career and his way forward with his next opponent, potentially Nikita Tszyu. For Nikita, he has sustained a knuckle injury and is apparently due to have surgery to repair that knuckle injury. However, his team has mentioned that he will be back prior to Christmas. So we'll have to wait out on this one and see how his recovery goes. If this fight does go ahead, this won't just be any typical fight for these fighters. There is rival there. There is a rival between Zerafa and the Tszyu. And Nikita is being sent in to extinguish that rival. And Zerafa thinks he can extinguish it by taking on Nikita. Which I don't think that'll work, because then Tim's still there. It's a trap! If Zerafa wins, then he has bragging rights over the Tszyu. If Nikita wins, then the Tszyu have bragging rights over Zerafa. And potentially shut him up with trying to aim to get a fight with Tim Tszyu. Because we all know that's never going to happen. At the moment, it seems like both fighters and both fighters' teams want to make this fight go ahead. So it's looking promising for it to actually happen. In my personal opinion, I think this is actually a good fight and a good step up for Nikita. And I actually have him as the favorite. I think he has the better skills and the better style to be able to beat Zerafa. That's my opinion. And I can explain the reason why I have my opinion.
Listen well, brother.
I'm listening.
For one, Nikita showed a lot of improvement. Even though he didn't maintain that improvement throughout the whole fight, he showed improvement with his head movement, which has helped his defense. And he also showed improvement with patience, with once you hurt a guy, taking your time and not rushing in and wasting that energy, because you're probably going to miss a lot of the shots anyway. And on the other hand, Zerafa, I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything that stood out, that changed, that showed his improvement from his previous fight. He got caught a few times from the older fighter. From, as he was saying throughout the promotion, this guy's old, I'm going to get him out of there. And what did he show? He got caught with some good shots from the older fighter. So that didn't show any confidence in him from me. None at all. Defense. Defense is a massive thing. If you're going to progress, you need to make sure that your defensive skills are continually upgrading as you progress through the ranks. I've seen that from Nikita. I've seen a lot of weaknesses in Zerafa's defense, especially that left hand. As soon as he throws that left hand out, he keeps it down. He keeps it low. Even when he's not throwing it, keeps it low. So he's vulnerable for those right hands or the overhand rights or the counter when he's throwing that jab. So that's something he hasn't worked on after being knocked out. And thirdly, Nikita hasn't quit yet.
What the hell did you just say?
Alright, so if we're looking at this fight, look at the stare down. That was a good stare down. So just remember, this is the older fighter, Tommy Brown. Zerafa came forward, he came in explosive, trying to put it on the older fighter to try and get him out of there early and put the pressure on him instead of taking his time as he thought that the older fighter would do, which Tommy Brown kind of did a little bit at the start. And Zerafa did have some success at the start of the round. However, there was a point where Tommy Brown was landing those right hands, and that was due to Zerafa having that left hand low, like you see right now. It's got that left hand low, and boom, there you go. Caught with the right hand. Let's watch it again. That left hand is down low. Just wait for it, wait for it. Go throw the jab. Go to throw it again. Boom, right hand. This isn't just a coincidence. This isn't just something that Tommy Brown just caught him with a lucky shot. This is something that I think that Tommy McCurry was working on with Tommy Brown, because he knew, watching his previous fight, how he got knocked out. And that was from keeping his left hand low after throwing that jab. So they would have been working on countering that jab. As soon as he throws that jab, come over with that right hand. You're going to catch him almost every time. And that's what Tommy Brown did. As we continue on, comes in with a lead hook and wait for it. Oh, catches him with the right hand. Left hand down low again. Wait for the counter. Oh, tries for the right hand because he knows that left hand's going to be low. Wait for that jab. 1-2 from Tommy Brown. Not quite succeeding. And it's the one-off jab. When Zerafa throws that one-off jab without coming back with the combination, that's when he's most vulnerable. Because he throws that jab and then he leaves that hand down. Boom. Counter. Again. Watch it again. Tommy Brown's just waiting for that counter. Wait for it. Boom. See? That left hand is low. Look where it is now. Left hand's low. Threw the 1-2 there so he couldn't counter him. Tommy Brown had to hold because Zerafa was actually throwing combinations up behind the jab. That's when he has success. Look at that left hand. Well, we went for it again, but he's a bit too slow, Tommy Brown, in that one. That's his vulnerability, that left hand jab. When he throws that one-off jab, you just counter it straight away. Jab with the right hand, boom. And let's look at when he got knocked out. Let's look back further. And this is another thing. This is the game plan that Nikita and his team will be going to. they'll be looking at this fight and analyzing this fight the most, because here Zerafa is fighting a southpaw. Nikita Tszyu is a southpaw. So if you want to see his vulnerabilities and you want to expose those vulnerabilities, you're going to look at him fighting a southpaw where he got knocked out by a southpaw. Ready? Wait for it. Here we go. Holding. Wait for that lead jab with nothing behind it. Jab. Boom. That's it. And that was a straight left hand. Come over the top with the right and then straight down that middle with that left hand, because he was open. And then he quit. There we go. Shaking his head. Shaking his head. I quit. It's over. Nope. I don't want to continue anymore. Thank you, ref. Alright, let's look at that shot. Boom. Boom. Let's look at that left hand. Throws it down low. Boom. Boom. The two shots. This is Nikita Tszyu's game plan. This is what he has to do. Here we go. Boom, over the top, bang, that left hand, straight left hand, down he goes. If I'm Nikita's team, this is what I'm looking at, this is what I'm studying, and this is how I'm gonna fight. Bang, bang, all over. Tommy McCurry and Tommy Brown would have studied this tape over and over again, and this is how they would have developed their plan going into the fight. And you could see it from round one. Tommy Brown, the older fighter, not as quick as he used to be, not as good as he used to be, still landing those straight right hands. And it was all off the counter from that jab. So even after being knocked out, Zerafa has not improved this defensive flaw, which is a big problem. But then on the other hand, Nikita Tszyu has improved his defensive skills with that beautiful, slick head movement that just increased his needed defensive upgrade, because that's exactly what it did. It was just a shame that he couldn't maintain it through the whole fight, which is understandable because it's not easy to continue to move your head and get around the ring throughout all the rounds. That takes it out of you. But that's a defensive skill he needs to maintain, and he needs to work on his conditioning so he can maintain it throughout the rounds. And if he does that, it's almost a sure thing in my mind. He'll beat Zerafa. I think most people are keen and eager to see this fight, especially the Australian public. Well, mainly just the Australian public. And I myself would love to see this fight. I think it is a good challenge for Nikita, and I think his goal would have to be for this fight, if it happens, is to continue his head movement and that increase in his defensive skills. And my playbook for this fight for Nikita would be when Zerafa got knocked out by the southpaw. Continue to study that fight and see his weaknesses and work out your game plan, how you're going to try to achieve the exact same thing. The only thing I think Nikita and his team should not do is have a reduced training camp. I think for this fight, he needs a full training camp. He needs to be recovered from his hand surgery, and he needs to have that full camp, study Zerafa, study that fight, get everything that you need to get right, and then take the fight on. And if that means taking the fight next year, so be it. Because if he takes it too early, it might be a mistake. He might not be ready, he might not have enough time to train and get that game plan down pat and work on that head movement as he needs to improve. So for me, he needs a full training camp to fight Zerafa, to beat Zerafa. And I think he will beat Zerafa. The fight between Nikita and Zerafa has the potential to be explosive. A very entertaining fight. However, both camps have a bit to work on to get there. Nikita needs to work on his hand, get that surgery, get that recovery, have that full training camp, and go from there. Zerafa, he needs to look at his last two fights and how he's getting exposed with that left hand, with that jab, with that one-off jab. He needs to work on that because his defensive skills are going down while Nikita's defensive skills are going up. So if he wants to win, if he wants to put a notch on the Tszyu name, he needs to work on that defensive flaw. This will be the showdown to potentially end the feud between the Tszyu and Zerafa, and it is guaranteed to be an entertaining one from the press conferences all the way until the last bell rings. So hopefully we get to see this one. As always, leave your thoughts below on this fight if this fight happens. And if you enjoyed this video, just gently tap that thumbs up. And until next time, peace out.